Tonight on Connecticut's news station, a violent 24 hours in our state's capital.
If you saw the level of violence that was displayed in the city last night, it's terrifying.
Multiple homicides hitting Hartford hard. How officials are cracking down.
We had a beautiful day today. What about the weekend and tracking our next chance for showers and thunderstorms?
Hateful flyers cropping up again in Connecticut, but it's far from the first time the community has had to deal with them. We'll explain and hear from activists who say hate has no home in their town.
And body camera footage showing the moment a West Hartford officer shot and killed a suspect trying to escape arrest. We're going through second by second to break down exactly what happened.
Now at 10, this is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
And we begin tonight in Hartford, where police are still investigating after a deadly shooting on I-84. Thanks for joining us here at 10. I'm Brent Harden.
And I'm Sarah Sanchez. Parts of the highway are still blocked off right now. It's been hours. The whole incident started on Newfield Avenue in Hartford. That was before the crash on I-84.
And all of this comes during a very violent week here in the city. Fox 61's Gabby Molina is live at the Hartford Police Department with the details. Gabby.
Brent and Sarah, this deadly shooting is the 7th one in 5 days here in Hartford. And like you mentioned, part of the highway is still closed at this time because of that investigation. Tonight, police are still looking for one of the vehicles involved. Gunfire on the highway between two cars making their way up I-84 East in Hartford.
Two parties were injured. One was fatally wounded and another was transported to an area hospital. The status or the extent of those injuries are unknown at this time.
It happened around 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Friday. While other drivers were on the road, Connecticut State Police say at least one of the cars involved crashed during the shootout, and the two victims were found inside. In a situation that could have ended with many more people hurt, police say only one other person on the highway at the time was injured.
At least one vehicle that was hit during this by one of the two vehicles involved. That operator had minor injuries.
But the violence did not start there. Police say they first responded to a shooting on Newfield Avenue in Hartford just minutes before the crash.
Officers were pretty close by, responded pretty quickly. Were able to locate a victim, a male victim in his 20s, suffering from a non-life-threatening gunshot wound.
Police say that's when the two cars took off and got on I-84 less than a mile away. The investigation shutting down the highway for more than 6 hours, with traffic being rerouted around the closure and leading to heavy delays during rush hour.
Our troopers and detectives are doing the best they can to process the scene as quickly as possible, but as you're aware, it's a very fluid investigation.
The shooting comes during a very violent week in Hartford. Police now investigating 7 homicides in just 5 days, all involving gun violence.
These attacks that we're seeing are up close and personal for the most part. These are situations that at one time would have been a fist fight or an argument. Now it's going right to gunfire.
And police are asking anyone with information about this incident to come forward. They do have an anonymous tip line. Coming up at 11, I'll have more on how violence in the city compares to last year, this time this year. Live in Hartford, Gabby Molina, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Thank you, Gabby. Staying in the capital city tonight, an all-hands-on-deck search for suspects linked to several shootings in Hartford over the last 3 days. Multiple agencies are working with Hartford police. Now, the latest incident was a double shooting early this morning on Park and Hazel streets. 2 men were killed after a hail of 101 bullets. Police believe 4 men also wanted in 3 other related shootings are responsible. They've released security cam footage showing the suspects. As you can tell, though, it's difficult to make out their faces.
We need everybody's help on this. We have to stop these individuals as soon as possible.
Investigators do not believe these individuals are linked to the shooting that shut down I-84, but this morning's double homicide brings the number of murder victims to 7 over the last 5 days in Hartford. And so far, there have been 27 homicides in Hartford this year.
Well, new at 10 tonight, New Haven police are investigating a fatal crash on Forest Road near Willard Street. They say it happened just after 2 p.m. 80-year-old Faraz Khalib of Hamden veered off the road into a telephone pole for unknown reasons. He was transported to a hospital but later died. Police are asking anyone who may have witnessed that crash to give them a call. Well, turning to the forecast now, it looks like we're in for a nice weekend, mostly, but yep, we're tracking a chance for some storms to move in tomorrow night. Meteorologist Sam Sampiri joining us now with the latest on this. And Sam, you were just saying a few minutes ago, you're watching this pretty closely for tomorrow night.
Oh, yes, because I'm also looking at new data, also looking at the history of these storms and the history of this system showing severe thunderstorms still going on, severe thunderstorms warning up through Minnesota and into the Wisconsin area. And Michigan also had a severe thunderstorm warning and a tornado warning too. And now we're starting to see the tail end of this warm front try to get in the Ohio Valley and even up into northwestern Pennsylvania there. And this is all coming in our direction now. The biggest threat will be for tomorrow night. I think most of tomorrow is going to be just fine. So overnight, temperatures are going to be dropping off very nicely. So it's going to clear night. Maybe some high clouds as we head towards tomorrow morning. Temperatures are going to drop back into the upper 50s to near 60. And then notice tomorrow, we're still comfy in the morning. The sun comes up at 5:55. A mix of sun and clouds. And it starts to get a little bit warmer up in the low 80s, mostly cloudy, some sun. And then by the afternoon and evening, we'll start to see some of the first part of the system in the form of some showers, scattered showers and some storms. And the sun going down, which we probably really won't see at 7:55. Now, it's not widespread here, 6, 7, 8 o'clock, but will become more numerous. And we'll be watching this very carefully as we head towards later tomorrow night. I'll be back in a few minutes and we'll talk about that. I'll time out the worst part of this system when it all comes to an end and what you can expect for the second part of your weekend, basically Sunday, and then going into early next week as well. Brent, Sarah?
All right, Sam, thank you. Scary moments in Manchester today. A teen who was learning to drive crashed through a vacant store, somehow making it all the way through the building and out the other side. It happened on Spencer Street next to the Ocean State job lot. Police say the 16-year-old was with a 73-year-old man who was a passenger in the car. Both of them sustained minor injuries but are expected to be okay. There's no word yet on the structural integrity of the building they hit.
New at 10 tonight, police in Norwich are asking for help in identifying a man accused of robbing a bank in the middle of the day. It happened at the Chelsea Groton Bank on West Main Street. Police say the suspect, you can see here, demanded money from the teller. It's unclear if that suspect was armed. There's no word on how much cash he got away with. If you saw anything or have any information to help police, give them a call.
Also new tonight, the U.S. Supreme Court has blocked a settlement with Connecticut-based Purdue Pharma. The settlement would have protected members of the Sackler family from civil lawsuits related to the opioid crisis, the Sacklers own Purdue Pharma. The Supreme Court also called for further arguments before the end of the year over whether that settlement can proceed. In a statement, Connecticut Attorney General William Tong commended the nation's high court, saying Connecticut has stood against what it calls exploitation of bankruptcy laws.